All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Just by a show of hands, how many of you have been to one of these workshops that I've done before on the online marketing? Okay, just a couple of, okay. So this year, probably more than any other years, I've done this the past 4 or 5 years. Probably this year more than most, there's a lot of new stuff. The way that I always introduce these is everybody at some point during the day will probably be overwhelmed. You know, my history, 1998, 1995, I moved up here. Started building websites for golf courses. Since 1995, I've spent over 40 hours a week on the computer. So if you add that up, it's about 50,000 hours doing this stuff. And I still get confused on a daily basis because it's always changing. So the goal today is just to kind of give you a more top-level overview. By a show of hands, how many of you have somebody at your course that's good at everything, like customer service, finances, marketing? Okay, I know Jordan. I know Jordan. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you raise your hand, they can grow grass. Jack can fix your clubs. He can put the head back on when it flies off. It's actually really rare that you actually have a course where you have some of the rock star individuals you have in this room. So what does that mean? That means the whole goal of today is just to give you an overview of what you can be doing. A lot of this stuff that's available now actually is like no additional cost. So, you know, my mantra a couple of years ago was, how do you get to true $0 marketing budget? You actually can do it. Now that hopefully everybody's making some money, you don't have to, and it can make your life easier to spend a little bit on marketing. But the idea here today is to give you an overview of everything that's available, and then also to help you figure out what you need to do and what you don't need to do. Danny, could you do me a favor and turn the music off? All right. By a show of hands, how many of you actually do the internet marketing at your course? How many of you are doing Facebook posts, website updates? Okay. Is anybody in here not touching a keyboard? Okay, just a couple. Okay. So the true delegators, I love it when they show up too. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the overview. Here's how the day is going to go. The Online Marketing for Golf Course Workshop, this was put together back in October. I started to go to seminars. I'm a seminar junkie, so I was down in Hilton Head for the Golf Course Owners Convention, listened to all the CEOs from Troon and Kemper and Heritage, 3,000 golf courses under management, best practices. And then I was down at the PGA show. Again, I listen on all of the webinars, the seminars. Jay Karen, the president of the National Golf Course Owners Association, they have a tech specific out in Vegas. So I was in Vegas, Hilton Head, and Orlando since last October, and I just go to all of the marketing and online classes. Again, I'm a junkie. I go to class for a couple hours and I go play golf. So living the dream on business. And but the bottom line was there have been some very consistent themes on what's working. The problem when you go to all these fancy seminars is that they tend to be geared towards the high-end resort, Bandon Dunes, Whistling Straits type properties. And the people that present at those, if you call them afterwards, because I say, how much would it be if you helped me with my website and some blog posts? And they come back and they say, well, that's only $3,000 a month. What? So what I love about the people in this room is most of you are at courses that are just average public courses that have somewhat of a sensible budget. And a lot of you can get a lot of this done in-house. And in my personal opinion, it works better to do it organically in-house versus canning it out to an expensive agency and have it look cookie cutter. Or God forbid, have an intern somewhere like in Orlando running your social media, and it's the same as the 12 other courses right around you, and they direct you to the leaderboard of the PGA. Like, what? And you get 0 likes, 0 responses. It actually causes your following to go down. So if you're farming out your marketing, whether it's a tee sheet company or a golf barter exchange type of company, just look at your results. I'm going to show you some results of what happens when you just do it in-house, organic, natural, and the other beautiful word at the end of that is usually free. Okay, so here's how today's going to go. The purpose of this seminar, we're going to go through why even do this seminar. The bottom line is this can literally make $100,000 a year or more difference, even if you don't spend an extra penny on Boost and pay-per-clicks. The intro and options, so the options for help. Once you learn what to do, then you got to ask yourself, who am I going to have help me? Is it in-house? Am I going to hire my kid? Am I going to have a summer intern? Am I going to hire a fancy schmancy marketing agency? Am I going to barter a tea time a day and have interns in Orlando do it for me? Am I going to pay an expensive Minneapolis agency to do it? You'll have options for help, okay? The top 5 things to do, I narrowed it down because all of this can be super overwhelming. And you could literally make this into a full-time in-house position. Not recommending you do that, but you could. But I'm going to narrow it down to the 5 most important things that I think you can do to make the biggest difference in 2025. The Autopilot Workbook, that 35-page guide that you have there, to give you a little history on where that came from, my son, who's 26 now, he went to the University of Arizona, and he was in their Eller School of Business Management, which is one of the top 10 business schools in the country. And I told him, in exchange for paying for your tuition, you got to send me your marketing material from your classes. So this is it cost me $200,000 to get this workbook put together. So cherish it. I'm not going to charge you any extra pennies. But just so you know, if you are Google, Microsoft, if you're a Silicon Valley Fortune 500 company, that is the blueprint that your team uses to create a business plan, create a marketing plan, identify your target customer, and actually implement a marketing strategy. So super cool stuff. I've tried to make it as simple as possible where you could sit down in a day or two. You know, I see a lot of people from the same course in here. My advice to you is to take that workbook, block off like 2 hours. Don't go more than 2 hours because your brain just absolutely freezes after about 90 minutes in my case, but most of you can get to 2 hours. What I recommend you do is take 2 or 3 days where you just chunk through it, and we'll zoom in, but pages 4, pages 5 through 8, literally it's $1 million strategy, and it will make an unbelievable difference for you. And that will be the foundation for how you do all the rest of your marketing the rest of the year. Once we go through the Autopilot program, I actually created towards the end a little report card so you can give yourself a little self-check on how are we doing. And then number 6, what we'll tap into is included with your seminar fee today. I'm more than happy to do basically like a free basic analysis for you guys. I can look at your Facebook page, your website, your Google. I can just give you some quick bullet points on what I think you can do to help. All right, so let's dive in. And then afterwards, with the survey, we got some gift cards. The dining room opens at 4, so if you're thinking of sticking around, we will be able to, 2 of you will get free dinner tonight. Okay, so online marketing for golf courses, top 5 things you can do. What I love about this graphic, and let's go ahead and pull up your work packet. Grab a pen, and then Jack, will you help me hand out these little sheets? And hand me one of them. Here's another, because I'm a seminar junkie, I'm going to hand you, this is called a meeting sheet. Here's why I hand this out. This is a sheet to kind of help you organize. As we go through these slides, when I get finished with the slide, I'm going to ask if questions. What avoids people like asking questions like during the meat and bones, during the couple minutes, is for you to be able to write down like your questions. So again, I think this was from Cornell University. This is how they recommend that their CEOs, when they do meetings, you follow this little guideline. So you have 1 column for notes, 1 column for questions, and then 1 column for to-dos. So as we're going through this, as I'm describing some of these slides, if a question pops in your head, just jot it down. And then what also should happen throughout this entire seminar is there should be ideas pop in your head like, oh, we should be claiming our Google page. Oh, we should be adding a special offer on the Google page. See, that's the 3rd column, the to-dos. So the way that I've found to get the most benefit out of these seminars, and any seminar I go to, or I even use this for just one-on-one meetings, is if you're taking notes, then you can listen as you're observing, and then you can write down your questions so you don't forget, and then you have your to-do items at the end of the day. So this is more just kind of a little tidbit, but it'll be super helpful so that you don't feel like we're shotgunning too quickly here. All right, so what I love about this graphic is that the way to visualize all of this stuff is to see it, how it all fits together. You have your digital technology, it's stuff like your T-sheet, your POS, your website, content marketing. This would be things like writing blog posts, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, email marketing, super important still. SEO stands for search engine optimization. A lot you can do there, but that's simply is when people are looking for you online, are they finding you? What's a little different now is that online, Google, Facebook, Instagram, how many of you at home stream your TV now? You don't have traditional cable, you stream. Okay, it's approaching almost 50%. Here's the wonderful opportunity. With streaming, now you can actually run ads through Google and it will show up on people's TV while they're streaming the football game. So the whole world of streaming is bringing into play your ability as a business to reach consumers now, not just through their phone, not just through their computer, but now also through their 100-inch TV. All right? So that's how, SEO is the most important thing you can do organically so that when people are searching for you, they find you. And I'll do a good example. I'm glad Andy and Dan and Jennifer are here. Because in Hastings, are there 4 courses? Yeah, there's 4 courses in Hastings. So you search for golf course in Hastings, you've got 4 or 5 different options. It's actually the perfect example I'm going to go through here. And I can actually share with you like, oh, okay, why does one course rank above the other one? And what can you be doing to get in different positions? And then the campaign marketing, that's like pay-per-click. So you can pay, and I'll show you, I just did an example to show you. Spent $100 on a Facebook post boost. And Greg, how many, what did we hit, 20,000 views in 2 days for $100? Yeah, so we should give you some real world examples that you can do too. All right, okay, so let's go on to the next page. Why this seminar? I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I just want you to be aware of what you can do and understand that it's going to be a process, but here's why. Traditional marketing agencies, you literally are not going to find a traditional marketing agency that even wants to do business with you if you're not willing to spend at least $1,000 a month. I'm just telling you up front. I've tried, I've reached out and requested. Most golf course managers, how many managers in the room in July have time to go and create some videos, and besides Andy Gerber, how many of you have time to go out, fly drones, do some cool videos, put them up on Instagram and get, Andy, how many views do you typically get on some of your Instagram posts? 20 to 30,000. So he's got some great helpers that he can, and he loves to do it, and he's very good at it. But most golf course managers, either it's expertise, interest, time, don't have time to do it, and that's okay. You need to surround yourself with a great team. Online marketing for golf courses, here's the big dilemma, is that it's not a full-time position. And you guys are seasonal. So there's some solutions for that as well. Some of the golf, here's the thing, the most common thing I've seen the last couple of years. Course will say, I ask them like, who's doing your marketing? They're, oh, the T-sheet company said they would do it. For only $400 a month or for only a tee time a day. We'll do your email blast. We'll do some posts for you. We'll monitor your online reputation. And the percentage of time that works out is about 3% of the time we get to the end of the year and they're like, oh, are you happy with the results? And it's because they're trying to have somebody that's not on property, that doesn't understand the consumer, especially for average courses. Again, if you're at Pebble Beach or whatever, go for it. Let somebody else do it. You don't have to do anything to fill your tee sheet. But if you're trying to attract your customers, provide a better customer experience, actually have a culture at your course that it's going to invite people there and welcome them back, you need to be doing a lot of this in-house. You just do. And here's the beauty. How many of you in the room have a cell phone? Okay, 100%. Guess what? 100% of you can do almost everything I'm going to show you just with that little phone in your pocket. If you have not upgraded your little cellular device, I would highly recommend you do. If your cell phone's more than about 3 years old, update it, because the cameras and just everything with the newer ones, makes all this stuff you do look very, very professional. So that would be my one note. You could put a to-do if your phone is more than 3 years old. In the to-do column, say buy new phone. It will pay for itself many times over. Okay, so some T-sheet companies, again, they take over, and then here's what happens. They take over all of your stuff because they say, oh, we want to have it all in one. Like, we want to be able to do your website and your email blasting and your social media. And then courses try a T-sheet, and the average course changes T-sheets how often? About what, every 1.5 years? So then in 2 years, you're completely hosed, and you got to get everything, all the domains transferred over. It's a complete nightmare. So if you ever become unhappy with that particular T-sheet, like after it gets bought by a credit card company and they jack up your rates and you get mad and the support goes down, then you're screwed. So I'm just trying to enable you guys to take control of this so that you can bring as much of it in-house as possible and prevent, for the 50th time, me seeing a course that ends up down these rabbit holes that you're getting talked into, okay? And trust me, I've sat through, how many hours did it take us for that install 4 years ago, Jack? How many hours did we put into a new T-sheet POS install?
I was on and off for like a month to finally get everything from A to Z.
What do you think, 10 hours, 20 hours, 50, how many hours?
30 to 40?
Yeah, at least 40. Okay. And that's, we knew what we were doing. Okay, so that's the all-in-one. Online marketing platforms. Here's, how many of you get frustrated when you go back on Facebook or Google and it's different than what it was like a month ago? Yeah, it is. It just evolves. Yep, me too, Jordan. Again, I look at this stuff all day. When I was prepping this, I was helping Greg. I looked at your Google business page, and TripAdvisor snuck in a link on your Google page. For the menu, when you clicked on it, it went to TripAdvisor, not your website. Like, that just happened last month because I looked at it 2 months ago. Okay, so don't be frustrated or confused. Here's the bullet point that I want you all to see on the why this seminar. You can do most of the free basic things very well. And I would say, I'm glad Greg's in the room. So Greg McCush, owner of Montgomery National. Greg, we just the last couple years have just put in all the basics. Dollar value wise per year, how much of a positive difference do you think it's made?
A couple $100 grand.
Excuse me?
Maybe a couple $100 grand.
Like more than 100, like maybe 200? Okay. And that's what, that's online store sales. That's when you do a Facebook post and promote your punch cards, memberships. Okay, yeah. Great. So there you have it. And literally with Greg, I've worked with him, 3 years now. We have literally spent $0 on pay-per-clicks or anything. Everything's been organic. All right. There's lots of typos between me and him. There's lots of typos in our posts and stuff, but guess what? It works. He's actually got, with 4,000 something, I think he's the #1 volume Facebook page in the state now, in Little Montgomery. So, and what we look at here, we'll show you stats, but he said it was okay show, and I think we had over 20,000 views on your Facebook page just in January. So, okay, you're doing a lot of cool stuff, and we're just telling the world about it. So that's the beautiful thing, is all of you are doing a great job. I've been to every single one of your properties. You do a good job when people get there. The mission of this is to help show more people what you're doing, and then once they get there, it's your job to take care of them. But that's the whole goal of this, is how do we reach more eyeballs? How do you do a post and reach 20,000 people like Andy does with Instagram? I've met 95% of you. I think really the important thing here is I've been doing this over 50,000 hours. I still, on a daily basis, get confused and have to figure it out. I started TwinCitiesGolf.com back in 1998 because my wife told me I was spending too much money on golf and I needed to make it a side business. And I grew up, my parents had a house cleaning business and where my grandparents were farmers. So she said, figure out a way to make money golfing, will you? Because we were out of school, wanted to have kids in a house. So TwinCitiesGolf.com, Dave, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but literally started because all I was trying to do was figure out a way to call it a side business. Yeah. And so I started running tournaments and building websites. Very few people have more fun. So that's my story. 1998 just started. I built, actually, Jack, interesting tidbit, I built Prestwick.com in 1998. It was the first golf course in the state that had a website with Dave Moody.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, so I charged him $3,000. Because we could back then. But it took me like 100 hours to build it. So I was still working for minimum wage, but But that was my story. I literally took a weekend seminar on how to code HTML. I paid $2,000 on how to code a one-page website. And then anytime I wanted an update, I had to call somebody. I couldn't even email them. And they charged me $50 per word change. Can you imagine these days if you paid, what? It was a service called ChoiceMall. Cool history. Okay. So what I did was 1998, just kind of trudged along. Golf was booming back then. I don't know if you all remember. It's like now. I used to bring tournaments here to the Wilds, and they were a $100 green fee. I'd call up. They'd say, would love to have you. Danny, this is a good story. I'd say, I want to book, I want 40 golfers from noon to 1 on a Saturday. They're like, okay, great. It's normally 100. We're going to charge you 110 because we do tournament services. Andy, do you remember doing that? Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So in 1998, golf courses actually got away with upcharging well over rack rate for tournament services. So it's fun to be back here and kind of have all these, there was almost no houses on the property as well, and go from there. So that's me. From where I really branched out was in 2005. I started running golf tournaments for Golf Galaxy in 40 cities. And so that's when I started doing marketing services outside of Minnesota. So it's been fun for me. Since 2005, I've got courses all over the country that I help out. And I've worked with over 500 businesses, not just golf courses, but a lot of fitness centers. And I try to learn outside the industry as well and bring best practices back to golf. All right, enough about me. Top 5 things, here they are. Here's the magic number. Search engine optimization, optimize your Google business page, create content, monitor and manage your online reputation, and then regularly communicate with those that have gotten either in your database or are following you on social media. Okay, understanding Google results. How many of you have your computer up? What I want you to do is, I want you just to pull up Google. And I'm just going to give you a little example here. I'm going to search for golf courses in Hastings. Here's what I want you to do. If you have your computer, do golf courses in, and then type in your city. So do golf courses in, I'm going to do Hastings, Minnesota. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. All right. Okay, so if you look up at the screen here, here's what I want to show you. So we went to Google, we typed in golf courses in Hastings, Minnesota. Here's what I want to point out. You notice the first thing that it shows is places. So places is, this information is pulled directly from your Google business listing. All right, so that's why on the next slide we're going to talk about your Google business. Why is it so important? 5 years ago, when you typed in golf courses in Hastings, actual websites showed up, not their listing with a link to the Google Maps. Okay, so this is why claiming and monitoring your Google business page is so important. And I have not seen a single golf course or business in the last 2 years that there is not more views on their Google business page than there is their actual website. Right? So is website important? Yep. What's more important? Your Google business listing, because this is where the eyeballs are. Okay, so here's what we see. Google Places right now, we got Hastings Golf Club 1, Hidden Greens 2, Emerald Greens 3. That's the listing. You'll notice they put right in your face the Google reviews, 4.6, 4.6, 4.2, great job. Over here, they got the map, they got the little buttons where they're all located in proximity, okay? Again, that is your Google business listing. It shows that Emerald Greens has 535 reviews, Hidden Greens 271, Hastings 332. Now what you'll notice if I clicked on here, Bellwood Oaks would show up if there's more in that market. Now, people ask me all the time, why is Hastings 1? Why is Hidden Greens 2? Why is Emerald Greens 3? They won't tell us the exact formula, but I can tell you here are some major factors. Number one, how many people actually click on it? Hastings Golf Club does a very active job with dinners, with parties, with weddings. A lot of people are searching and putting Hastings Golf Club in their Google map to get there, whether it's to go to dinner or go to a dueling pianos or whatever. So volume is one thing. Two, they do a really good job of updating it and being active on it. It's also, and I've helped a lot of these courses with this, it's connected with their websites, connected with their Google Analytics, which is connected with their social media. So remember that first slide, how all of this stuff fits together. Google knows if you're active on your website. They know if you're posting on social media. They know how many visitors are hitting your website. The more information that you can connect with them, and the higher volume you can get to your properties, the higher up you're going to rank here. Okay. Now, if Bellwood Oaks had a booming banquet center, then you would probably get more volume, and then you might actually show up top 3. But the difference here is both Emerald, Hidden, and Hastings very active, not just in golf, but also on the banquet and event sides, which is would be my guess as why they showing up there. Okay, now let's get down to the organic listings. This is where it gets really good. Okay, so these are what are called organic or free listings. So Emerald Greens, Hastings, Bellwood Oaks, Golf Pass, this is Golf Now, and then Hidden Greens down here, and then Golf Now again. Golf Pass is just Golf Now's $99 a year program that they can use to discount the hot deals even further. Later topic. Okay, so why is Emerald Greens number 1? Volume, interconnected. We've done a lot of coding, special coding behind the scenes. Been working with them for 15 years. Hastings, again, why? Volume, connection, all of that. Bellwood Oaks, well represented. Here's the other thing that I love seeing is what you see here is this is called the title. So this is called a title tag, which we'll get to later. But notice the description, like all the courses now, because we've had a couple years to kind of work with you guys, is everybody's pretty good about having their title tag, their description show up, all right? But what does this mean? If Golf Pass is showing up on the first page of searches, you need to make sure that you claim your listing on that site so that you can update it, make sure that it's accurate, and make sure there's no negative reviews on there that are going to kill you. Okay? Why does Golf Now show up on the first page of most results? Because A, they pay Google a lot, but B, it's a high volume site. They've got 4,000 courses, million plus people use it. Google knows that a lot of people go to Golf Now to view it. Okay. All right, what do you see over here? Recently viewed places. This would be based on your individual activity. Okay, now here is potentially the most important section, and this is, how many of you have it pulled up on there like Google in your city? Okay, if you do, I want you to scroll all the way to the bottom. Okay, Jordan, what are you seeing down there for people search for? If you're at Valley View and Apple Valley, what are you seeing at the bottom of your screen?
I got Valleywood, then I got Emerald Greens, Crystal Lake, Southern Hills, Hastings, and Inglewood.
Okay, so Google just told, and how much did it cost you to get that knowledge? $0, right? So I was working with a client. They got charged $1,000 by a marketing agency to tell them what were their main competitors and what were people looking for when they searched for Valleywood. You see what we just did there? So you just increase your value. So guys, these are the courses around you that other people are searching for. And look, it gets even better. They even give you, looky here, keywords. All right, so keywords are going to come into play whenever you're writing blog posts or what people are actually looking for. And again, this used to be buried in Google Analytics, which if you didn't have a college degree in online marketing, you could never find it. Look where it is now, guys. It's literally right in front of you. So this is great if you're going, we'll talk about blog posts. So if I had a golf course in Hastings, I would be writing blog posts like, oh, what are the best public golf courses in Hastings? What are golf courses near me? Okay. So that just literally from a Google search. That costs you nothing and easy as that. All right. How many of you have used Copilot, like any AI stuff? ChatGPT, okay. Right now, built in within all the Microsoft products, the Copilot has AI. For a golf course, this could be a whole different topic, but I'm just going to, whether you have ChatGPT or whether you have like a Copilot, here's how you can use it, and I'll reference this later. This was one of my favorites. I ask, because courses ask me how to use AI, I typed into Copilot, what do I say to the owner of a house who lives on my golf course who is complaining about a golf ball hitting his house? So if you're a manager and you want to kind of diplomatically know how to handle situations, here's one example of how you can use AI. Acknowledge, show empathy, gather info, and then follow up. But I promised I'd touch a little bit on AI. I'll go into it more later, but that's one like practical example of how you can do that. Okay, let's get back to the meat and bones. Before I do that though, any questions on that Google business, like the search? No questions there? Okay, and I'll stick around afterwards too if you have any. But I want to just emphasize why it's so important. All right. So that's understanding Google search results. First place, and we're on page 5 of the flyers. So the first listing is the places. The second is sponsored websites. Now, I want to show you one example of what that means. We're going to go to Google, and we're just going to type in car insurance. If you want to know if anybody around you is paying for ads, when you're in Google, if you search, if you see this sponsored, that means that's a pay-per-click. They're paying for placement. Okay? So here you notice if you type in car insurance, it knows where I'm at. It knows I'm in Prior Lake, Minnesota. These are the sponsored. Here's another really important thing is, oh my goodness, Google is actually showing results out of social media before they actually show website. Okay? This is the moral of the story here. Google places more emphasis with search results on your map, your social media activity above your website. Okay? That's shockingly different than 4 or 5 years ago. Okay? So you're asking, well, why should I post on Twitter or X? Well, because if you do, you're going to get found. Okay? And it literally connects all of these now. If you put something up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it will actually find it. I'm going to do a little, because it's super common that I hear businesses say, I've only got 100 followers on Twitter or whatever. That's not even the most important part. If you post on Twitter, only 100 people might see it that are following you, but when people are searching, they might actually show them. So here's an example, Montgomery National. This is the Google business listing here. We have the 267 reviews, 4.5. Here's what you should write down is you should shoot for a 4.5 or higher. 4.5 or higher, and the most 10 recent need to be positive. So whatever you have to do to push down any negative reviews that invariably crop up, 4.5 or better and 10. When you do that, there's a slide on this, that increases consumer confidence. But if you peek up at the screen here's what's even more important. And Greg, this is what I found. A week ago when I pulled this up prepping for the seminar, this literally linked to single.platform.com, which is TripAdvisor's website. It was sending them there to learn about your products and services. So I had to log into your Google business page. I had to edit the profile. I had to find it. I timed it. It took me about 20 minutes because they keep moving where it's at. But we got that fixed. And next day, boom, magically, now that everything's updated, everything's going to your website, everything's clean, up to date. Now, here's another big piece of the puzzle, guys. If you're working with your website programmer, notice here, when Montgomery's typed in, it doesn't just list their homepage. The way that you code a website makes a huge difference. Look what's happening here. He's got not just one listing, it's got the homepage, it's got the tee times, the rates, the scorecard, Clubhouse, memberships. Work with your website coder so that when they type in the name of your course, and those of you that have your computers up, literally type in the name of your course right now, because this is really, really important. Just type in the name of your golf course and see if your website has more than just one listing. This has to do with how you have your navigation set up. It's called a sitemap. Okay. All right. So while you're doing that, I'll point this out. Look here. So if they're just searching for your course, your property, look what it's showing. It's showing his website, which is great. Look, these are all the videos that we've done. And this is my favorite. Remember this one, Greg? Why is it the strangest golf course in America is Montgomery National. This was the haunted guy. So look, when people are looking for your course, they're seeing these videos that we've done. You know, CBS News, WCCO. So, you know, getting that type of exposure is huge. All right, look what this also shows. It shows popular times when the course is busy. It shows the reviews here. We're able to go on here and add a post, like a special of the month, or you can actually do specials or promos here. Okay. Here's the other important thing. Those of you that have your golf course pulled up, look at the first page of results and find out what other websites are trying to hijack your traffic. Okay, so Yelp, they set up a directory page, which is super important because Apple Maps pulls from Yelp. Google Maps pulls from Google. So you need to make sure your Yelp, as much as everybody hates Yelp, and agreed, unless you live in California or someplace not near the Midwest, they use that more, but you have to claim your Yelp page because that is what's connected with Apple Maps. And most people under the age of 40 have an iPhone and they use Apple Maps for their directions. Right? So the first page of results, if you're looking at your results for your golf course website, you need to make sure that you're listing on the MGA page, on the Explore Minnesota page, make sure your Facebook description is up to date, but Golf Digest, and make sure this stuff is accurate. Most of the time it's not, and most of the time you can actually go in, claim it for free, make the updates, and then you're going to be in a better spot when people are looking for you. Okay. Here's the other thing, and Greg, if you want to know like who truly is your competition, what are some of the keywords, remember what we did there before? These are the 4 or 5 courses that people that are searching for Montgomery also typically tend to search for or end up on. And this makes sense. Look, Stonebrook, Willingers, New Prague, Ridges. So if you ask me who's my main competition or who's the courses that are closest to me, my customers are playing, there you go. Here's the other thing, and this is what like I use if I do your blog post, is I'll use these key phrases to create some of the blog posts to help improve those results. Okay. All right, let's get back here. So that's understanding Google search results. SEO, so this is the biggest buzzword. Every one of you, I guarantee, if you look in your inbox some point this winter, somebody reached out to you. Star Tribune is really into this right now. They're saying, hey, we'll help you with either, it's called SEO. This is page 6 of the workbook. They'll say, we'll help us search engine optimize, and then the new phrase is search engine marketing, SEM. So now there's an SEO, and now there's an SEM. SEM just means you do this, but then you pay for it. You pay to have different placement as well. So for search engine optimization, you can do 99% of this yourself. So the way that you improve your SEO is you optimize your keywords, and that's, remember what I just showed you, like what keywords should you be using. There's tools basically built in within your Google Analytics, which again is free, that will tell you, what keywords should you be using. Quality content creation. Now, don't confuse quality with professionalism. Here's the distinguish there. You are better off with volume and having some typos and having some non-Hollywood appearance. You're better off with volume than you are getting paralyzed by having it be perfect. Right? I mean, what we did with LeSueur, I didn't do it perfect, but I misspelled a word. It's okay, we still got 20,000 views, and actually people start talking about it. So I didn't do it on purpose, because I will never be able to spell LeSueur. If anybody can ever consistently spell, whatever. I don't know, I must have dyslexia or something, but that's the hardest word in the American dictionary to spell is LeSueur. All right, quality content creation. The videos, these new phones, this is why I tell you it's so important and then you can also online or on app, there's apps that they teach you how to be a professional cell phone photographer. To my shock, my wife even ordered a $9 how to take better pictures on her iPhone, and it's dramatically improved our family portraits. So, on-page SEO, this is every page of your website has coding. There's things called description, meta tags, alt image tags. I'm not going to go into it because it puts people to sleep, but there's things you can do on each page of your website, and whether your company that does it uses Squarespace or WordPress or any of them, you can optimize this. Number 4, crosslinks. Another word that's commonly used is called backlinks. This is how many other websites link to your website. All right. Those of you that have a computer, pull it up. I'm going to show you how you actually see this. This a practical example for golf courses is like your Chamber of Commerce. If you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, they should have a link to your website from theirs. Every Chamber of Commerce gets a huge number of visitors, especially new people, so you want to be on their site. Here's how you find out what other websites are linking to your website. See what I did there? In Google, type in link to, no spaces, colon, and then you type in your domain. So go, if you're on your computer, type in link to, colon, Hidden Greens. Okay? So then what you can find is that if there's some other websites that actually link to you, you'll see them here, and you'll start to see other websites that have a link to your website. So the MGA, the Golf Digest, Twin Cities Golf. All right. So you can start to pan through there. There's no spaces. Nope. It's just linked to. So this would be something to write down on that slide, or write down on your notes. Do link to, colon, and then just your domain, not www, just link to. All right. So that's how you find out who is actually linking. Look at the first couple pages, because you want to make sure there's not like anything inappropriate posted on some sites that or more importantly, outdated. Some of these directory sites, it would say like, oh, the green fee at Montgomery is $22 because it's from 1991. So link to, I'll send this to you too. This is important enough, I'll do in a follow too. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so it's link to and then your domain. Okay, so that's crosslinks. But that's just local businesses. If you all have customers, season pass members that have a local construction company. Say, hey Joe, would you mind, I'll link to your website if you link to mine. Like on Montgomery, we just have a local sponsors. Getting them to do that would be a huge help. If you have a banquet business, get photographers, all these local people, get them to just do crosslinks. Say, hey, will you link to me and I'll link back to you. It'll help both of us. Number 5, blog posting. Blog posting is just a fancy word for a news update. Most websites should enable you to create blogs on your website. And then the 6th one is using Google Analytics and the Google Search Console. And I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole different weekend. But in the follow-up, if we do an analysis with you, I can show you how to get in there. You actually have to put some code on your website so that it tells Google where you're at, what you're doing, and then again, that improves your listings. Okay. Let me show you an example just so you've seen it. As people have said, blog posting, I thought that was something that was popular, like 15 years ago. Yes, it was. But what's more important now, it's more important now, not even for the content and that people will see it. What's important is because it helps your search engine optimization. So on your website, you should have, whether it's in the header or down below, you should have, I like to call it just a news page. And so what you're looking at here is basically blog posts. So on January 30th, we can put up league results. There's all different types of things you can do. Greg did a fight night.
Already done that.
This is AI generated voice, by the way.
Thank you very much for coming out for us. We really appreciate it.
Sometimes you gotta remind them.
Golf is not done yet. This is Iron Mike. Join me this Friday at Montgomery National for golf and fight night.
All right, so that was all AI generated. All right. Did you get any comments on that?
People enjoyed it.
All right. Yeah, literally if you go to Google and type in AI voice for Mike Tyson, You literally just, it pulls up, you type in what you want him to say, and he spits it out. So hopefully we don't get beat up over it, but all right. That was one of my more fun things that we did, I think, Greg. Okay, that's search engine optimization, Google Analytics. Let's go to the next page. Optimize your Google business page. Okay, here's what you need to know about this is there's a business profile. If you look in the lower left-hand corner, once you claim your page, again, it's free, it will show you all the important statistics. This number right here is the last 28 days. In the last 28 days on Montgomery, 10,156 people have seen the Google business page. Super crazy. So what I did here is I put to claim your Google page if you haven't done it. These are the different steps. And then this is, again, going back to why you should be paying attention to this, is because in the last 30 days, 7,755 people in January looked at Montgomery National's Google business listing page. I'm not very good with math. Jack, are you good with math? 7,000 divided by 30 days. How many people a day is that seeing your Google business page? What if it?
225.
Yeah, a day. 200 people a day in January. That doubles during the summer, guys. That's why it's so important. Okay. It will also show you what they're searching for to find that ended up clicking on your website. Okay, so super helpful there. Google business page. Number 3, let's get on to content creation. With content creation, volume is more important than you got to have good enough quality to represent your facility, but don't be paralyzed by the quality of the content. Obviously, have it be appropriate. But so this was a good example. I used Copilot like ChatGPT, and I typed in, how do you create good content? So this is what it spit out. Know your audience, set your goals, create content, be consistent, use visuals, images, videos, great, and then optimize for SEO. What does that mean? That means when you do a post, use some of your keywords, okay? Over here, I typed into Copilot, give me ideas on how a golf course can create good content for social media. So it's one of the questions I ask, and this is what you'll do in-house. Here's AI's recommendation on what you can be doing at your golf course to create good content for social media. Golf tips, tip of the week with Jack. I'm out on the range, talking about the range. Behind the scenes, interview staff, interview course maintenance, do a video of somebody cutting a cup, do slow motion. People love superintendent-generated content for some reason. Andy does a lot of time-lapse type stuff. It's really cool. Like, what's it look like to mow a green or get the dew off? It's really cool stuff. User-generated content. This is where you can actually have some of your customers actually video, maybe a playing lesson or something on there. Special events, course features, talking about the history of the course. Let's interview somebody who's been playing at your golf course since 1972. Like, I would be, especially with courses like Bellwood Oaks and Hidden Greens, you have customers that have been coming there for 50 years. Just sit down with them and say, Jack, tell us, when did you start playing here at Bellwood Oaks? That kind of stuff gets crazy good interaction and content for social media. Golf course updates. Hey, we just got a new carts. We got a new menu. Lifestyle live stream. So there's 12 ideas on ideas for content that you can share online. Okay, and literally you can do all of this with a relatively recent cell phone. Monitor and manage your online reputation. Super, super important. I screen grabbed the stats on this. Forbes says that up to 98% of consumers, this is page 9 on your workbook, up to 98% of people actually read reviews before making a purchase. And then ResearchGate comes in, very consistent across consensus, is that if you have a negative review, there is literally, if they see a 3-star negative review, there's literally a 51% chance they will not buy your product or service. So, real world example, if 1,000, Greg, how many people saw your Google business listing? 7,000 in January. If there were negative reviews there, 3,500 of them probably would have thought, I'm never going to go to Montgomery. That's how important this is, guys. So that's a real world example. You cannot ignore that. Okay, here's something I want all of you to do. If you don't have your computer, it's super important because something happened last November that lit a lot of us up. I want you to check your page and see if it's been hijacked by TripAdvisor or Golf Now. So if you look in the lower right-hand corner, when you do a search, and Greg, this I screen grabbed this before I changed it. When I was prepping for this, I went and look what it says. Google replaced your website with a places.singleplatform.com. Now that, if you click on that, that went to TripAdvisor, and it had a landing page with your content, everything created for it. So I had to go into the Google Business Listing, I had to find that section, and then I had to replace it. That's what I did here. It was that. I replaced it with your actual website. Until I die, I am going to go to the grave telling you guys that everything online should point back to your website. Don't send them directly to a booking engine because you're probably going to change in 1.5 years. Don't send them to TripAdvisor. Don't send them to GolfPass. Don't send them to Golf Advisor. Get every possible visit to your website. Why? Because the more volume you have on your website, the more higher they will rank you. Site traffic is a major factor in Google rankings. So why would you be sending people to a different website versus your own when all it's doing is going to help them? Super sneaky stuff that Google and Golf Now are doing right now. So here's where it's real world. I don't know, how many of you noticed last October when you searched for your website that this magic new blue Book Online button appeared? How many in the room noticed this? Did you notice it, Jordan, before all the golf course owners blew up about it? Did you hear about it from all of the? Yeah. So with nobody in the country knowing, Google did a backdoor deal with Golf Now so that when to your Google Business Listing, they added for a lot of your courses this Book Online button. Because Google knows people go to look for your website to book tee times. That's the number one thing, rates and tee times. So what did they do? Google launched this service called Golf Reservations. It's called Reserve with Google. And if you haven't, I'll send you a link. Jay Karen, NGCOA president, he actually interviewed the Google guy who oversaw this whole program. They just did a webinar like 2 weeks ago. I'll send you the link. But how many of you in the room have heard a Reserve with Google? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2, like 1% of people have. If you're a restaurant, you have to do this because how many of you go to a restaurant, you search for it, you click that little reserve a table button? How many of you do that now? Like you've heard of open table stuff, yeah.
In the restaurant, this was just this past Saturday.
Yeah.
The restaurant didn't even get the reservation.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So here's what Google's trying to do, and this is what the rep from Google said. He's like, we don't want people to have 2 clicks, which is go to your website, book now. We're going to bypass your website. We want them to go directly to the booking engine. Well, it sounds like a good idea if you're a search engine company trying to deliver to your customers the fewest clicks possible. If you're a golf course owner and you want people to end up on your website instead of somebody else's reservation site, you want them to go to your website. So what was happening in November, and those of us that paid attention, absolutely irate over this, because what was happening? People were searching for the course, Mississippi National. Remember, this is the first thing that they show now, and Book Online. When you clicked on Book Online, well, look conveniently, look where it goes. It goes to Golf Now or Teed Up, which is a subsidy of a reseller for Golf Now. So then you click on this, and what's the first thing to show up? No, hot deal times. Oh, no wonder they sell so many. So what did they just do? Somebody went on Google, they searched for Mississippi National, they saw the Book Online, they end up on Golf Now to show them the hot deals or their inventory first. It completely bypassed the course. So Jay Karen, President of National Golf Course Owner, gets up in arms, starts to spread the word. This was the hottest topic down at the National Golf Course Owners Convention in Hilton Head. And through those efforts, we lobbied. We were able to get Google now to work with the other individual tee sheet companies, 10-4, Lightspeed, 4Up. So now, if you have one of those main tee sheet companies, you can have this go to whatever reservation system you're using now, or you can just have it removed. But this was super sneaky. It showed up. It was redirecting traffic. But just to kind of give you an idea of a heads up. All right. So find out if your Google Business Listing's been hijacked by one of those 2 companies. Okay. Topic number 5. Topic number 5, regularly communicate. Why would you want to actually stay in communication? Well, because customers who receive regular communication spend 140% more than those that don't. All right. So these are the reasons: just customer satisfaction, deeper trust, boost retention. But most importantly, it increases your revenue, and this could even be like once a month email. So these are the industry recommended standards for these types of communications now. Email marketing, minimum once a month. In season, you can get away with once a week. Just keep it short and sweet. If you're doing it, if you have a lot of stuff going on, you have different specials and food, you want to use email for tea time reminders. If you are a golf course, you are plagued by people no-showing, short-showing. What's happened, now that golf has gotten so popular, people are booking tee times farther out. They forget because they book 7 days out, and they short-show or no-show you. The best way you can minimize that is to have your tee sheet send a 24-hour reminder of your tee time. So that's part A. Part B is you should send a post-round thank you. If you really want to improve your email marketing, segment it. Don't send information about your leagues to your entire database. And then keep it short and sweet, 4 topics at most. What I really like doing in emails is having little teaser lines and then link it to your website for more information. So why would you do that? Well, because website traffic volume is one of the biggest factors in having Google rank you higher. So you see how that works? You send an email. In the email, you redirect them to either your social media or your website, and then that increases the volume, so it improves your search engine optimization. So even emailing once a month will help with that as well. Social media marketing, minimum once a week, just to stay active. What we've seen is for golf courses during the season, 2 to 3 times a week, put something up. It keeps people engaged. Go from there. Text message marketing. How many of you in the room have tried to do paid text message marketing, like build up a text list? Okay, Andy, tell what happened. Did it work? Did it not? Was it worth it? Was it not? Tell me your feedback.
It worked, but I think it also annoyed the customers.
Okay.
I went away.
So I love what he just said, because that's what I was going to tell you that it does. And then use that for my recommendations. So here's personal opinion of working with average courses. Text message marketing is best for communicating with specific clients who have signed up for a specific service. How many of you this morning got a text from me with details for the, okay, so those of you that signed up and paid, I did that because I wanted to say, here's an example of how to use text message marketing to reach somebody that has a really intimate relationship with your product or service. So what that means is, if I was giving lessons, you bet I would be texting the people on my books. I sat in a simulator yesterday, and the instructor had 8 lessons scheduled. 3 of them no-showed. So I walked in, I didn't get there till 4, and the guy was just behind the counter like, another freaking no-show. And so I'm like, did you text him, remind him? Like, no. I'm like, dude, you got to do it. You either got to do that or you got to make them prepay, because magically when people prepay for lessons and stuff, they show up. But text message marketing, I do not recommend that you sign up and try to build a big text list and then blast that list. People's cell phones are their last remaining privacy channel. So again, it sounds glorious, and people say some people have good results, but just my personal focus on email, social media, and then use this for your most, this could be league members, hey, league members, just a reminder tonight, we've got a dinner special, or we're rained out. Use it for that. You can get away with it with email or with tee time reminders as well. If your tee sheet company allows text message reminders for tee times, do it. That's okay. That's highly encouraged. But just do not try to build up 1,000 list and then text blast it. People will unsubscribe. There's severe penalties right now for spamming via via text messaging. So at this point, it's just hasn't proven to be worth it. And trust me, I tried it. I try everything. Okay, so that's regularly communicate with the new customers. Okay, so you have these 5 different items. How do you possibly keep track of all this? Let's go to slide number 12. So slide number 12 is just tracking. So if you're not doing your own, you're paying somebody else to do it, how do you actually pay attention and make sure that it's getting done? Here's how you do it. Just create a little spreadsheet. So this is what I do for courses if we work for them. We just each month look at website. These are the important things, website visits. Is your email database, is it growing or decreasing? Facebook, Instagram, Google Business, Twitter, and online reputation, and your YouTube channel. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 8 things each month that I would recommend, especially if you're paying somebody, I would recommend that you pay attention. This is the report card, okay? So within this, so those are the most important things to pay attention to. Here's why you would want to pay attention to it. This is the last 3 months. This is November through February. So this is Montgomery's Facebook page between November and February. Total page likes, they're up to 2,600. Their Facebook page reached 88,900 people. Picked up 119 new fans. Did 42 posts. They did like a little, what did we do, Greg? Like a 12 days of Christmas type of giveaway? Again, so that really boosted 24,000 page views. This is what I love, especially about Facebook analytics. Look in this lower right corner. What we can now tell, Greg, is that the people that follow your Facebook page, this is where they live. Montgomery, New Prague, Lakeville, Prior Lake, Lonsdale, and Shakopee. Okay? So why is that important? Number one, if I'm selling an ad in Eden Prairie and I come to you and say, will you buy an ad in my Eden Prairie newspaper? What should be your response? I'd like to, but you know what? My key cities are New Prague, Lakeville, Prior Lake, Lonsdale, okay? If you're doing keywords, there you go. If you're boosting a post, I'm gonna show you, you can target people from age 25 to 45 that live in these 5 cities that like golf. And that's what I'm gonna show you we did with Le Sueur to reach 20,000 people within 5 miles of the golf course for $100. Okay, here's what I also love about Facebook Analytics. These are the 5 people that are your most active users. Bill, Smith, Darwin, Richard, Bob. These are the people you better take good care of them. Number 1, because they're chatties. But 2, those would be the people that I would probably give them a free bag of pretzels next time they came in. Like, hey, Richard, I noticed, thanks so much for your interaction online. You know, the Shasta's on me today. Most active commenters, okay? So you see that there. That's all built in, and this is all free. You can literally log into your Facebook business page, click on analytics, and see this information. But most importantly, just somebody pay attention to it, because here's the other thing is that if it's getting done wrong, this is how I use it more often than not, is if your email subscribers are going down month to month, guess what? You're not doing it right. Is it too long? Is it boring? Are you not specific targeting? So I've monitored golf course and businesses where literally month to month, their followers and their emails were going down. So my advice was, maybe we should do something a little bit different. And then you can right that ship. But this is often what happens is, say you hire somebody that's not in the golf industry that does marketing, or that maybe it's in summer intern. And if you do this wrong, it most commonly shows up when these T-sheet companies take over doing courses marketing. They just post stupid stuff that gets no interaction. And when stuff gets no interaction, guess what? Google knows about it. So then it's gonna lower your results. So having third parties do your social media marketing, if they're not getting comments and likes and interaction, it actually hurts you more than it helps you. It's painful for me to watch because I know behind the scenes what it's, and I know that oftentimes that golf course is giving that big company, 4 rounds a day, $150,000 a year worth of value, and it's actually hurting them more than it's helping them. That's what I lose sleep over. All right. Okay, let's go to slide number 13. This is the super fun interactive part. Get out your pencils, get out your pens. This is the reality check. Okay, this is like if you go to counseling, you gotta be honest with yourself here. All right, so is everybody on page 13? This is, we're going to spend some time here, and again, don't get over analytical. This is your gut first reaction. Okay, number one, your website SEO. Now that you know that that's search engine optimization, again, if you don't know, you can put a question mark, but to your knowledge, when you're searching for your golf course in your area, do you feel like it's rocking, or do you feel like it's poor, like if it doesn't show up? If you don't know, if you're not really familiar with it, just put a question mark and we can analyze that together later. Okay. So once you do that, let's go through the rating first, and then we'll go through ideas to improve and managing. Social media, just give yourself a 1 to 10. How are you doing with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel? And again, this is completely self-perception, but rank yourself how you currently feel your course is doing, 1 to 10. All right, email marketing. Again, here's the standard. You should be email marketing. This industry, I've seen, if you once a month newsletter, if you're consistently there, and then maybe you throw in an extra 1 or 2 during the busy season, then that would give you a little bit higher self-rating right there. Online reputation reviews. If you didn't see it whenever we did that, that would be your homework, is to just search yourself. If you don't have a computer, actually this is worth the time. If you don't have a computer and if you did not Google, let's actually everybody pull out your phones. This is a good time to do this. Everybody pull out your phones and open up either your Google Maps or your Apple Maps. Whatever device that you use for, whatever device you personally use for directions, pull this up. I'm going to walk around and help you guys. So just go to your directions and then search. Yep, okay, so type in your golf course name. So just type in your golf course name. This is where we're going to show online reputation reviews. This is how most people are seeing it. So for the people watching online, you go to your Google Maps or your Apple Maps, you type in the name of the course, and then you see there where you see the actual reviews. All right. Is everybody seeing? Okay. Yep. Okay, so links is 4.5. Where are you guys at? 4.6. Okay, you see some of you, the videos are popping up. Wild Marsh 4.4 with some beautiful views and some videos. Compliments of Brock and Hutton. All right, where are we at with LeSueur? Okay, 4.7, impressive. Nice pictures, all right, yep. So I see Greg there's on maps. Steve's on, okay, Siren National, you guys good? Okay, so 4.0, work on that. Valley View? Valley Wood. Oh, I'm sorry.
Valley View, shut
Valley
down.
Wood, that's true. Is that Belle Plaine?
Yeah,
Yeah. Where are you guys at?
3.8.
Okay. So what you'll find here, especially if you serve food, you got to constantly stay on top of this. It's normally the food that gets you, okay? All right, let's go to the next one, online reputation reviews. Your Google business page listing, that's what you just looked at if you looked at it on your phone. If you haven't claimed it, if you're not actively updating it, again, rank yourself like 1 to 10, tell yourself where you're at. If you are checking it monthly, you're adding pictures, you're responding to reviews, that would give you a 10 out of 10. All right, so that's your Google business listing page that you were just looking at. If you're on an Apple or a Maps device, then that would be with Yelp, but we're going to stay focused on Google for now. Okay, do you know your 10 most important keywords? Those were flashing back to that slide where I showed you those phrases at the bottom of results for your page. That's how you can find out your keywords. That is one of the things that included with the seminar, in my free follow-up analysis, I would be happy, again, it takes me 10 seconds. That's one of the things I can send you is your 10 most important keywords. In full disclosure, all I do is go type it in and copy paste from the bottom. So, but if you don't know what those are, again, just rank yourself. It's easily fixable. Content creation. Are you good at creating good pictures, creating some videos, doing posts, doing blog posts? Just give yourself a good self-analysis, again, 1 to 10. Next item, do you have a monthly marketing plan? Do you know what you should be talking about in January and February and March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October? Look at it month by month. On that 35-page document that we'll go through towards the end of the seminar here, I have a month-by-month calendar that gives you 5 to 10 ideas on what each month you can be talking about. Just for why is this important? I know you guys, a lot of you are burnt out, but Greg, can I ask you a question with just like online sales between November and February-ish, roughly? Online sales when you were closed most of the time?
What,
How much online store sales?
I think $150,
$150?
150 grand.
Oh, 150,000.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's possible, guys. So if that's why you might want to send out an email once a month, even in the winter time. Because what you did gift cards, you did early bird.
Did punch cards, and that was pretty much it. And a few memberships involved, but mainly punch cards.
Only point, okay, and gift cards, okay. So in Greg's monthly marketing strategy, November we did some Black Friday specials, and then we did some holiday specials, and then just the 10 rounds. Yeah, that's a good result. Now, and then tracking, that's what I showed you with that report card. Okay, so that's a scale of 1 to 10. After the seminar, here's now that you learned through this, in that 35-page document that we'll go through the auto marketing, we're going to give you ideas on how you can improve. All right. So the way that, and again, you'll do this later, and then in the last box, that's when you actually write in who is going to do this or pay attention. Once you assign who's in charge of it, then you can track it. At the bottom, this is what I want all of you to do is, if you know it, write down what is your total annual marketing budget. This is not a trick question. If you were a Fortune 500 company, they usually allocate about 5% of their gross revenues towards, which means if you are $1 million business, you spend about $50,000 a year in marketing. I don't recommend that for courses, but a lot of you pay for like the Knot, enhanced listings. You might run some ads in local papers. Again, consider that total marketing budget. The second little question down there in the lower right corner is, what is your annual online marketing budget? If it's currently 0, fine, you can pull that off. What I'm going to show you is the power of this, though, is that even if there's a month or two that you can scrape maybe 50, $100. All right, let me show you an example. If we did this, so this was a post. We're going to help Le Sueur do some promotions. We did a post. Here's missed my typo right there. All right, so this post, 144 likes, 121 comments, 19 shares. Do you guys know that when people like your page, you can actually invite them to follow your page? Did you know this? Isn't this cool? People say, how'd you get like 15,000 followers? Well, I just do a post, and when I do a post, I invite them to like my page. Oh, there you go. Just invited 20. Those are people that don't like Twin Cities Golf, but they like that post for some reason, and now I just invited them. So that's a nice little trick you can do there. What a lot of people don't realize is that if you look at your comments and you actually like their comment as the business, they actually get a notification. Oh, Montgomery National liked my comment. Again, another outflow. All right. This brings up a really good point. Go to the first page of that presentation, because I want to give you the most important mindset to do. And on the front page, just so you see it, above where it says online marketing for golf courses, and underneath that pretty picture, I just want you to write outflow equals inflow. So here's why. People say, I do post all the time and I don't get much interaction. I'm like, fine, there's no direct trackable, but it's outflow. If 100 people saw it, So the reason that I love that line, and I see it very consistently, it's the number one mistake that small businesses make. They think that just because I can't track a direct sale to a post or something, that it's a failure and it's not worth doing. The more you outflow, the more people see you, the more it's going to inflow. Outflow does equal inflow. So here's a couple tricks. When you do a post, here's what I recommend you do, is click on who's liking it. Once it opens up, it will tell you, are they following you already, or can you invite them to join you? It just takes a couple minutes. This is something you can kind of be doing on a regular basis. That's how, it's a major way that you guys can do that. What you can also do is see who shared. If you like their share, this is on Eileen's personal Facebook page, and she probably has 1,000 friends. When Twin Cities Golf likes her post, her 1,000 friends see that Twin Cities Golf liked that share. How cool is that? So we just got in front of 1,000 more people. And if you actually comment on it, you can do thank you for sharing. So same thing. So here's what I do. And you can do this too. Cost $0.0. You just do that, and then they get a notification, and all their friends see that you like their post. Isn't it great? You just make friends every day. Okay, so that's what the actual post. Now, people want to say, okay, well, if I'm going to spend some money, what's it going to get me? So this is getting into pay-per-click, or what's also called search engine marketing. So let's just say you can talk your owner into giving you a $100 a month budget to boost post. Here's the results. So we did that post. I set it up for $100 spend. Here's the quick summary. 18,000 views, 10,000 reach, 582 link clicks. And then if you click on the view results, this is where it gets even better. So in 3 days, I've spent $80, 8,310 engagements, 7,600 3-second video plays, 582 links. Maybe even more beneficial, look at this, demographics. So Facebook knows if you identify as a man or a woman, what percentage. They also know your age because you put in your birth date. So with this, it was, 25 to 65, men versus women. What you can do with these Facebook ads is you can say, I want this to be shown in these zip codes, plus or minus 10 miles. I want the minimum age to be this. I want the maximum age to be that. You can actually say what interest, because Facebook knows if you're watching golf-related stuff. All right. So what we did is we did a targeted market. It circled about 10 miles around the property. We spent $100 to get 18,000 views. Okay. If you do this as a golf course, you could literally spend $50 and probably reach 5,000 people. And oftentimes what I've done is even if I just helped you guys do one campaign, you can usually take and run with it from there. It's pretty user-friendly now. Okay. So that's what yeah, question?
I was actually the other day when you posted that video, I was watching just a random golf video about the new drivers that came out on Facebook, and how while you're watching a video, an ad would pop up. That video for Resource Country Club came up in the middle of that video.
So what Steve just said was he was just online watching golf content stuff, and that video actually popped up. And it popped up because of that pay-per-click. Now, organically, it probably wouldn't have showed up, but if it knows you live within 10 miles of there, or you had been searching for something related, there's a word that you'll hear, it's called retargeting. Retargeting is an online fancy word for if you're watching golf-related videos, like for how to improve your swing, it's going to show you a golf-related ad for a golf course or a swing trainer device. It knows that. And it's going to show you on your laptop, on your tablet, and it might even show up on your streaming TV device. So that's a real popular buzzword, is called retargeting. It's cross-channel marketing. Okay. Bottom line there, though, literally, you need to know that for literally $50, $100, you can get incredible results. All right, so that's online marketing checklist. Here are the next steps. Let's have everybody pull out your Golf Marketing Autopilot workbook. We're going to go into this next. Jack, will you grab me one extra copy, or can I, yeah, grab me an extra copy of that. I want to. Actually, why don't we do this, guys? It's been about an hour, and let's take a break. Let's just take like a 5-10 minute break. Use the restroom if you need to. And then when you come back, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the actual auto marketing workbook. All right, the secrets. Okay. Okay, so this is called the Golf Marketing Autopilot Workbook. So it's 35 pages. Let's start here. This is basically a step-by-step guide. So here's what I recommend. This is what I've seen work, is literally set aside, day one, set aside 2 hours where the key people, the managers, and if anybody's in marketing, you're going to want to get through the first like 8 pages. So let me just show you, and I'll kind of explain as we go through here. So the idea on this is to give you a step-by-step plan. Literally, the average course that I go through this with, I'm not exaggerating, guys. It literally is a 15 to 20% increase in revenue year one. So let me mathematically map that out for you. If you brought in $1 million last year, you do this process. If you did not grow to 1.1, 1.2, I'd be shocked. So this is a 6-figure effort, and most of this can be done in-house. A lot of this you won't have to pull in outside. So that's the whole idea here. It's a step-by-step plan, and this is a Fortune 500 blueprint on how you identify and grow your business. Okay, so that's page 1, step-by-step plan. I've been doing this with courses for about 6-7 years now. Literally, I think the least amount of revenue growth is like 15% year one. And that was on almost a $0 marketing budget. I think I charged them like $100 a month to keep them on track. So, okay, so here's what's in this 35 pages of good nugget information. How to create a marketing plan. It has a checklist for your website, email, social media, online reputation. All these things that you saw the first hour of the seminar, this is the nuts and bolts on what you look for and how you do it. Okay, why this program? This was 2019. I need to update this, but even back in 2019, 7 billion, you had 5 billion users. Nobody has to convince you guys that people are looking online, all right? So the whole purpose of the program, increase profitability. I put this phrase in because I really feel like for golf courses, you guys get so busy that you have to stay focused on servicing customers, managing staff, and delivering a quality product. But this online marketing stuff, if you actually set it up right, you can manage it in 15, 30 minutes a day. Like you can, you know? So that's, I want you to, everybody feels overwhelmed, but if you efficiently organize and manage all this, you actually can pull it off in 15 to 20 minutes a day. Okay, so we all know, does anybody disagree that online marketing's important? No? Okay, good. Okay, topic number 1, how to create a marketing plan. What you start off with is, what is your ideal scene? You know, last year I was on property just in Minnesota at 120 different courses. What I can tell you is that every property is very unique, and that's great. Just like every restaurant, so unless you're a fast food chain. Every golf course is unique. So what you want to ask yourself is, you don't want to, the biggest mistake is courses try to be too many different things to too many different people. You know, it's like being a restaurant and trying to serve American and Thai and Chinese, and you're just not going to be good. So you got to narrow down, like, what is your business identity is really what it comes down to. So identify your ideal customer. You'll hear catchphrases like unique selling proposition, like what actually makes your business different, especially if you're in a town that has 3 or 4 or 5 courses within a couple of minutes of each other. Like what actually makes you different and unique? I'm a big culture guy. Like what's the vibe? What's the culture you want to create your facility? Do you want to be a players club, or do you want to be more the fun fun hangout place? Do you want to be super strict? If people no-show, are you going to ding their credit card, and or are you going to take a little bit different approach? Like, you just have to decide what you want to do. There's no right or wrong. Every facility is just different. But if the reason you have to identify this is because all of your policies, all your procedures, all your staff training, all of your marketing materials needs to reflect who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. A big part of this is just identifying your ideal customer. So this is what I kind of came up with after doing like 50 of these meetings. Is I think we all agree that the ideal golf customer, they're actually nice to the staff. They talk positive about the course. They buy food and drinks, use the practice facilities. The more they pay, the better, obviously. Ones that give positive, constructive feedback, have good golf etiquette, and bring guests. Again, it's just identifying like who is your ideal customer. Like in real life, what you think about comes about. So if you have a very clear, it's almost like magic, guys, what kind of people it starts to attract. And then just what are your goals? Most courses I've met with over the past 25 years, if you literally ask them like what is your actual revenue goal, half of them don't even like identify a specific target that they're trying to get to. So then you have to look at your net profitability, you look at your rounds. Luckily we're in a situation where sometimes the answer is not necessarily more rounds. We want to maybe make more revenue per round versus, so how would that play out? Well, maybe we'll stop doing the 2-for-1 card, or maybe we'll not stop bartering or giving away 4, 8, 12 rounds a day. Again, this helps you make these decisions. But if you want to do volume, then it also helps you make another decision. We need to expand our tee boxes. We need to open earlier. We need to buy another greens mower so that we can start tee times at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30. So I've met with courses that said we don't start weekend tee times till like 7:30. I'm like, why? Well, we only have one greens mower. You're losing like $5,000 a day, right? Well, greens mower's $20,000. Like, okay, so you could pay that off in a month. But again, this just helps you. If you have your goals, then it helps you make those decisions that will help you get to it. Yep.
Annual revenues, do you put bar, restaurant, and golf together?
I would encourage you with golf and restaurant to separate them. Yeah, split them out. I mean, obviously they add up to a total. But running a restaurant, and there's some restaurant managers in the room here. It's a different animal. Look at them separately because you want to look at profitability. Like, what is your profitability just for your food and beverage versus your profitability for golf? I always want you to break down your golf specific revenue per round because then it will help you decide on your pricing structures.
And the restaurant would be revenue per customer?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. So we ask, is the revenue? And here's real simple math. Jordan, can I use you as an example? Because you usually know numbers. Total food, and he runs a city course, so this is all city knowledge, right? Like if I ask you like food and beverage sales, ballpark, how at Valley Wood in Apple Valley, what's like the total food and beverage for the year? Do you remember that roughly?
270 roughly.
Okay, so let's take 270,000, and then if a golf course does 30,000 rounds, then you take 270, divide that by 30,000, and what's that, like $9? Yep. So that's what you need to identify. That's why it's super helpful to look at the food and beverage separate. All right. Here, you guys want to hear a shocking number? We've looked at that number with dozens and dozens of courses. The average public golfer at a public course spends about $4.75 when they're on property. Well, you're more, aren't you? Do you know what your number is, Nicole? Hastings runs a Rockstar restaurant, and so I'm assuming it's higher. But for average courses, guys, it's shocking. And
It's a lot more than just golf.
yeah, that's true. Yep, it's a local restaurant hangout site for sure. So I would expect your number to be high, but if you're just an average public course that's relying upon pop and maybe beer and candy bars, you're $4.75 per round. And what does that really mean? That means every fifth person spends 20 and 4 spend nothing. Just reality. Now, my new favorite thing is the younger generation. They bring their own water bottles. So it's all good though. So you look at it. So like Wild Marsh is a good example. We looked at this and the food and beverage was lower, so we decided we put in Thursdays $55 golf and a burger. What impact did that have on bar and restaurant sales that day?
Quite a bit. It was, I know in the past, that wasn't hardly very busy on Thursdays, and I think in fact, a lot of people showed up.
Yeah. So then there's lots of ways you can do that. Is you can bundle it in together, or you can give everybody a little token that's $5 if you really want to drive. So there's a million strategies. And Le Sueur, this is what I'm going to recommend you guys do, is we have to figure out when people get to the course, if we need more volume to make a restaurant viable, there's strategic ways when people check in for golf to motivate and get them into the bar. Some courses have done things like show your receipt after the round. Your first beer is whatever you shot. Have you heard about that? They do that at Goodrich. It's great. If I shoot a 90, I literally get a 90-cent beer. And they find that 25% of people then will actually stick around instead of nowadays, 98% of people are slamming their trunk before the cart's even cleaned. So again, embrace what is. We got more volume, we got younger golfers in. There's lots of clever ways that we can all make more money. Okay, so once you set your goals, look at your overall revenue per round. I've literally done this, guys, with over 100 courses. The number of golf courses that could tell me what like their overall revenues were, and item number D here that you're seeing the overall revenue per round. I've literally had 2 golf courses out of 100 that really could tell me what their true golf specific overall revenue per round was. Now here's why that's important. If you're setting your pricing for season passes, for public, for Twilight, for events, this is a huge one. People want to know, how do I price my events? Well, you need to know what your true overall revenue per round is. If you break this down by your season pass members, and your season pass is $1,200, but your average season pass member plays 100 rounds, help me with the math on that. What's 1,200 divided by 100?
12.
What is it?
12.
That's right, 12. So should we raise season pass prices if your revenue per round is 12 and they play Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.? Maybe. If you like money, I guess. No. Again, it's not all about that, but the purpose of this helps you decide how to price your programs. I mean, there's always mass confusion, especially when you get in like big beginning of the year, or how many courses here have boards? Like 10 people on the board, and you got all these people in the room, and he's yelling we should raise our green fee, and she's yelling no, we need to make it cheaper, and there's all this cross friction. So the way you figure that out is you take your total, your revenue, you divide it by your round, you find out what is our current average revenue per round, everything. Season passes, leagues, events, public, any third-party programs. You get a baseline. And then you can make future decisions if you do programs based on, are we going to go up on our average, or is it going to pull it down? So when somebody knocks on your door and says, hey, will you do our 2-for-1 card, you just do the math in your head. If you're a $60 green fee and it's 2-for-1, that's $30 per round. Is that good enough? Yeah, maybe sometimes. Other times, maybe not. Then that would help you decide, should we allow it on certain days and times of the week? So that was the whole process I went through in 2015 when I started the Public Country Club. I sat down with 15 different owners, and I literally just asked them, when do you need people, when do you not, how much revenue per round, do you want a quality golfer, do you want somebody who's not accountable? We just went through all those metrics, and when we ran it as a test pilot and we got to the end of the year, we kind of realized, hey, younger, quality, avid, good etiquette golfers playing at non-prime times, and at the end of the year, the revenue per round was actually higher than the season pass member. What? And they're not playing Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. when I could be getting 60? Yeah, maybe that's why it works. So it takes a little outside the box thinking, but whether it's whatever program you look at, that's how you use it to actually gauge. But if you don't know what your true revenue per round is, you have no way of making those decisions. Okay. And my favorite study of all time, whose course is near Inverwood? Andy, did you ever hear about this study that Inverwood did on how to price their greens fees? Do you remember that back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the result was? I can tell you, but I'm curious if from a very active PGA guy. Do you remember after spending like $50,000 with a fancy schmancy consulting firm, what they told him?
I think it was $2 different than what they were charging.
Yep, so there were two things. One, they said there were a range, and literally, I'll try to find it and send it to you. The result of the study with answering the question is, what should we price our green fee at? Literally, the result of this, it took them months and $50,000 paid by city tax dollars. It said, you should price your greens fees at whatever it takes to fill your tee sheet. So yeah, I just saved you $50,000. So, you know, in small towns, why do these $199 a year programs work, $99 a year? It's because it fills your tee sheet, and, you know, in some markets it works. It might not attract the ideal customer that you're looking for, but again, it's filling the tee sheet. And the fortunate situation with golf is we've got high enough demand now where we can fill the tee sheet to our desired capacity and still be nudging, you know, revenue numbers where we want them. But yeah, that was a fascinating study. They kind of came back thinking, well, that was a waste of $50,000. I could have told you that, but that's what it was. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Let's go to like what type of customers that you want. Here's why this is so important. The reason this is so important is because if you're going to do a Facebook post, if you're going to do email, last thing, you may want certain types, more of some type of customers, and you may want less of some type of customers. What very few golf courses do that every other business does is they do targeted, segmented marketing. Here's what this looks like in a golf course. Do you realize as a golf course operator, Jack, while I'm talking here, count up how many different bullet points there are. Within golf, there are literally all these different segments of very distinct and different types of golfers. You're going to market to a season pass member different than you're going to market to an out-of-town visitor. You see what I'm saying here? So millennials, 25, seniors. Marketing to seniors, you know, that's the, hey, free coffee on Wednesdays type of promo, whereas that's not going to appeal to a millennial, right? So what this helps you do is break down what do you have that you like, which ones maybe you don't like, and then what I would encourage you to do when you're doing that little 2-hour brainstorming session with your group is check off the boxes by the 4 or 5 that you really want to attract more of. Like, oh, we would love to have more, you know, junior golfers. Okay, so you're going to have to create some junior programs in. We would love to have more early bird customers, people coming out before 7 a.m. or more twilight. Like Le Sueur is a great example, like twilight play. Like, is there any right now? Yeah, okay. So that could be a good niche to identify. Shoulder season play, again, some people want it, some people don't. But if you help identify which ones you want more of, then you're in a really good spot. In-house events, some people want to do club championships, some people don't. You know, junior programs, it's kind of same situation. Some facilities are set up great for junior stuff, some other ones aren't. So just know what type of customer you want to attract. Okay, page number 6. Page number 6, how can we improve the customer experience? Here's where you have to be really honest with yourself. So all of this fancy stuff that we're doing doesn't matter if they get to your property and they have a bad experience. You're actually hurting yourself if you attract new people and they have a bad experience. So the best marketing is always going to be when they have a great experience. So be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, how are our course conditions, pace of play, course playability, staff friendliness, cleanliness, food, drinks, and customer communications. Those are the main things that you want to really do a hard self-look, and at the beginning of each year say, you know, what can we be doing to improve? All right. Number 5, this is something, again, out of 100 course meetings, I think I might not even have had one that really paid attention to this. So you need to go back and look at your tee sheet and be honest with yourself and identify Monday through Sunday, when do you have room for more golfers? And these are the blocks, 5 to 7, 7 to noon, noon to 5, after 5. Let me explain to you why I broke it down into those columns. Think of a typical Wednesday. All right, 5 to 7, who's playing? It's your people that actually go to work during the day. You know, maybe they want to get 9 holes in and go to work. And so maybe that's your 35-year-old insurance agent or that class. Okay, who plays in that 9, 10 to noon window? Well, those are the seniors, right? Okay, so you want to identify maybe that's a senior window. Noon to 5, You know, right after COVID, when everybody worked from home, these were full, but a lot of us have seen over the last year or two, that's getting a little bit lighter now because people are actually going back into the office. But even before, who was that? Was that your middle-aged sales guy that worked early, sneaking in 9, home for dinner? And then after 5, that's either your leagues or your twilight play. So what I would really encourage you to do in your staff meeting, just pull up your T-sheet, just literally go day to day, see if you can identify windows of times that might have room for more play. And once you identify those day and time windows, then let's go to the next magical page, page number 7. Then what you can do, once you know your days and times where you have room for more play, then you can start to custom create maybe a promo to do something special in those day and time windows. Does that make sense? Here was a great example. 7, 8 years ago, met with Willingers. We identified that Tuesday was their slowest day of the year. We recommended they do like a 2 for X dollar promo. So they did like a 2 for 80, included a burger or something at lunch. And then now magically Tuesday is like the 3rd busiest day of the week, 3rd highest revenue days, just because they identify like it's a ghost town here on Tuesdays, let's do something. And that's been just one example of an incredibly successful program. That's why with Wild Marsh we did the Thursday burger and a basket deal, because Thursdays were slow. You know, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, packed. Mondays, events, okay. Tuesday, Wednesday, leagues, but Thursday, crickets. So that's how we use this formula, this graph to identify what we wanted to do when. If you're trying to attract families, you know, these Sunday afternoons, kids play with a parent type of idea. Again, these are just ideas and suggestions, but my suggested homework is find 1 or 2 windows during the week that you could fill more play, and don't try to do too much year one. Just try to pick 1 or 2 time windows, and then why is this so important? Is because it gives you something to talk about. If you're going to do that one social media post a week, if you can be promoting a 2 for Tuesday deal, or you can be promoting family golf on Sundays, it makes your emails more interesting, it makes your social media more engaging, so it gives you an excuse to outflow, and outflow equals inflow. Okay, item number 6. This is another thing that very few courses kind of really look and break down. You have to break down your individual player types or categories. Okay. So when you look at daily fee, season passes, loyalty, league players, let's take a course like Prestwick, for example. Jack, help me out a little bit. Season pass members, high or low volume at Prestwick? Just.
So for us, you have to be a member in some capacity to play men's club.
Yep.
So guys that can't make a full membership work just because they can't play enough, they do the season pass.
Okay.
So that way they can still get in. We probably have 50 to 60 of those.
Okay.
Just so they can get in for league.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some courses, here's the point I'm going to make, is some courses have really high number of season pass, like 200, 250, 300, okay? That takes up.
Season pass is separate from our membership.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are categorized separately.
Okay. So big picture though, whether it's, you call it a season pass or a membership, if you have 200, 300 of those, that might be 50% of your rounds.
Yeah.
Versus other courses that have 20 season pass members, the majority of their play is going to be daily fee. And then you look at just leagues. You know, some courses are doing, 1 or even 2 leagues a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which again is great, but what you want to find out is what's the max you can handle, how many rounds are the capacity, and just do you want more of a balance, or do you want to go all in on one another? You know, an example of a course that's kind of gone extreme on this is a course like Deer Run in Victoria's done very successful, but because of demand and location, they don't have to do any of these.
Yeah, you quit running leagues.
Literally just do daily fee. Like, okay, that's one way you can do it. But what it helps you identify is what do you want at your course, and then how can you develop some marketing program. If you want more full season pass members, then you create marketing campaigns to get those. If you want more league players, you develop marketing campaigns to get league players. So that's why this is so critical and important, is to just identify where do you want more or less. And part of this too is like, is that segment high maintenance, low maintenance? Are they build a good culture or do they tear down the culture? That's why it's so important to look at this. You know, if you're doing programs, you know, that like none of you do it anymore, but you know, there are some courses that like we're doing Groupons, and it was just the quality of customer maybe wasn't ideal. The revenue per hour wasn't ideal. So those are ones that fortunately we're in a position as golf courses now to be able to pick and choose. Okay? But all of that's going to add up to your total number of rounds per year. Beautiful. Okay, so slide number 8. This is how, from planning out your marketing strategy, and again, this is Fortune 500 stuff. This is the strategy for how you have to identify what stage of business you're in. You know, when I really started diving into the stuff, 2015, 16, the national statistic was 65% of golf courses in the United States were losing money in 2015. A lot of you were running a course during that stage, so I hate to bring you back to that stage, but in that situation, stage 2, when you were looking at, okay, what do we do when we're not profitable, is when you're not profitable, you got to offer specials, you got to get new people in, you got to build your database, you got to build your social media following. You just got to make every effort to fill every seat, whether it's prime or non-prime. You got to figure out a way to create off-season revenue. You know, luckily, most of you are in a situation now where you can shut down for 3 or 4 months. You can turn off. You make enough money 9 months of the year. You don't have to try to sell food and beverage or maybe even put in Sims. You don't have to because you're profitable. But when you're not, you got to get creative. If you're rebranding or you're really trying to take over, you know, there are situations of courses where you almost got to pretend that you're brand new. Like, what do we have to do at this restaurant, at this course? So if you're starting from scratch, you got to create the perceived value. You got to fill all the spots. So same strategy there. Now, if you're break even, it switches a little bit. Once you get to break even, you can maybe minimize some of the specials, but still you want to create the off-season revenue. Now, luckily, most of you in the room are at this stage now where, okay, you've hit profitability. What's next? So this is the strategy. Once you become profitable, you have to really look at all the different programs that you're doing, which ones are driving potentially the lowest revenue per round, modify or eliminate those. Nationally, the choice that a lot of golf courses are making that are yielding a very positive result is they're getting rid of the freebies, just getting rid of the barter, whether that's they don't realize 1 or 2 tee times a day, it's like $50,000, $70,000 a year. That potentially, and the only reason I come up with that number is because when courses stop doing it, that's what they can actually, this is what they tell me. This isn't me just forecasting. This is what actually does happen. Now that golf is in as high a demand as it is, and this is the opinion of the National Golf Course Owners Association as well. I'll send you the white paper that did a deep dive analysis on this, is that if you are just still doing barter, you're losing money. You're losing money on the table. All right, so the key to revenue growth once you're profitable is filling the non-prime time. So now it shifts. Your prime times are full. Now, if you're going to increase revenue, you got to fill shoulder season times and non-prime times. That's it. So luckily, most of you sitting in here, this is if you had a highlighter, this is what I circle it or highlight it. The key for you to go to the next level of profitability is to fill non-prime times. And this is converting twosomes into threesomes, twosomes into foursomes, threesomes into foursomes. How do we do that? And then if you're able to be open a little earlier or stay open a little bit later, how do you generate that revenue? Okay. Stage 5, this is only like for Pebble Beach and these places that are literally there. This is Torrey Pines, Pebble Beach. You can just keep tweaking up the price until people stop paying it. Most people aren't there in this market. Okay. All right, so the last couple minutes here, let's do this. This just summarizes. That was your homework stage. So once you do all of that, here's where we're at. These are the plans. This is how you actually implement a marketing plan. You evaluate it, be honest where you're at. You write down your goals. You plan it out, you create it, you implement it. The number 6 is what you should circle. This is where most people drop the ball. They just don't pay attention once they actually do it. So somebody once a month needs to just kind of keep an eye, is everything getting done? And then once you're able to see what type of results, then you can modify what you're doing. You keep what's working, you stop what's not, and then you optimize where you can. All right. The next 20 pages are really just simply, this is a checklist. Go through this, ask yourself, does my website do these things? Once we go to email marketing, same thing. These are just checklists. They give you some ideas. Email, just short and sweet. And again, I'll send you the link so you can see this digitally as well. This just summarizes social media. Facebook is basically your market of 35 plus. Instagram and Twitter is your under 35 market. Google Business is everybody. YouTube is younger. I put a link to this Buffer. If you want to manage your social media in 15 minutes a day, Buffer type site, it pulls in everything, puts it on one convenient dashboard. That's how you get efficient. Here you'll see the best times to post on the different platforms. Posts can be scheduled, like you can sit in your office at 10 a.m. on a Monday and schedule it to go out Sunday night at 6 p.m. when everybody's on their phone, sitting on their couch, watching football. Okay, so the rest of these pages just summarizes. Let's finish up the seminar here. There's a survey, it's a drawing. I'm gonna do a drawing for 2 $50 gift cards. Do we have Chef in the house? All right, I'm gonna bring Chef up here too, because in a couple minutes, the restaurant, if any of you are hungry, I'm gonna have him talk about what kind of yummy, delicious food's available. But let's finish up this part. Okay, so let's go to this last page, page 15. It's the last page of the small packet. I'm sorry. Go to the small packet, the last page. The small packet, the online marketing for golf courses. Go to the very last page. Is there a survey? There it is. Okay, so this is how you get in for the drawing. If you would do me a favor, while Chef's explaining what foods are coming up, I'll just have you fill this out. This helps me as far as which topics that you found were helpful for future. Included with this seminar, I'm more than happy. I will provide for you a free marketing analysis if you'd like me to do that. I'd look at your Google listings, I'd look at your current rankings, get at your social media. I could do that. That's called a free online marketing analysis. If you'd like me to do that, just circle yes. And then if there was anything that didn't get covered today that's a burning issue, let me know and I will send you a direct link to follow up on that. But simple questions, what do you feel is the most beneficial? Anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to learn about? If you want me to help you out, more than happy to do that. And then once you turn that in, we'll do a quick drawing for 2 $50 gift cards to go eat. But I appreciate everybody coming. I hope that you found that was helpful. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody out on the course once it gets opened up. Again, thank you very much, everybody.